content creator and ideator Steve Jones has charted a new path for creating high-profile programming starring dynamic people of color in Hollywood. His latest projects with Oprah Winfrey and Jennifer Lopez are proof of his strategy for improving diverse representation, one production at a time.
Thank you to E. Jones.
Jones's notable credits include OWN Network's #1 rated docuseries Black Love, the Wearable Art Gala special featuring Viola Davis, Tyler Perry, and Beyonce's first TV interview in 6 years, as well as Jennifer Lopez's first ever holiday music video. Producing content for major networks, publications, and global platforms, Jones's pride and joy has been in creating and moderating his events here.
What's up? We made it to the Oscar Academy. How y'all doing? Ooh, y'all all the way to the back. Give yourselves a hand for making it out. On a Friday night, you could have been anywhere, but you looked me. I appreciate it. You might have came for Lupita too, and that's cool, but for right now, you're here for me. Everybody doing good? We are intentional about occupying spaces that were not necessarily created with Black and brown people in mind. So welcome to the Academy, chocolate style. So happy to have you all here in the house tonight. We want to get right into it. Lupita Nyong'o is here, y'all. Woo! I seen her upstairs. She's so fine. I want to thank my partners first before we get into the program, if that's all right with you. First, we got to thank Paramount Studios for being an amazing partner for Hollywood Confidential. They made this night happen in celebration of Lupita's movie, and we need everybody up in here to go and see the movie. So tonight, you do have a job. We call you our co-influencers. You're not just our attendees, you're not just supporters, but you are our influencers as well. We need you to post about this, tag the mess out of Lupita to where she got to turn her notifications off, and at A Quiet Place on social media. Can you guys do that for me? Now we're gonna regram everything you do if you at Hollywood Confidential. Only if you add and hashtag. Those of you who got a book, you'll be able to use a QR code in that book to get directly to our Instagram so you can follow, like, share, so we can continue to grow and do more things on this level, like the Academy level. Y'all good? So thank you to Danielle and Mia, my new sisters at Paramount. I appreciate you all. I don't know if they're in the house, but I love y'all, and we're gonna do this again, and we're gonna ride it till the wheels fall off. We have another event partner tonight called Flavors from Afar, which is a restaurant that creates communities of support and organizing access to economic opportunities and critical resources for immigrants, refugees, and displaced indigenous communities. Their Chef Toma, is in the house tonight. And the owners, Maimuna and Tifa, are here as well. And they provided Kenyan food because how many of you all know that our honoree is from Kenya? So I really appreciate it. Their restaurant is actually on Hollywood Boulevard, and they actually provide global cuisine. But tonight, they were our Kenyan specialists. Give it up for Flavors from Afar. We're gonna work on this crowd. These claps are good, but when Lupita comes out, I want y'all to act crazy up in this place. Man, I'm so happy, and people are still coming in. It's a full house. This is a 1,000-seater tonight. And you guys showed out with 2,000 RSVPs. Now you know it's free and people be falling off. You know how that goes. You get a nice little date, a little call. I don't want to say a booty call, whatever the call. But I appreciate you guys for coming out tonight. Before we get started, I want you to know that our Actors Workshop is coming back. Has anyone in here heard about our Actors Workshop? That's 3 of you. Thank you. Alumni of our series include Melvin Gregg, Kendrick Sampson, Shaniqua Shonday of Harlem, Derek King. Derek, stand up, Derek. Come on, D. King. He's been on too many shows to name, and he got a lot in the pipeline, so I don't want to mess it up. But Derek was one of the first people to act in our Actors Workshop opposite Tabitha Brown. Do you guys know her? Back in 2015, the two of them were our highest scoring actors in our workshop. and they helped us to kick it off, and we have developed a pipeline for diverse voices, and I'm so proud to see where Derek is today. He's here with his Actors Rampage family. Y'all can do better than that. And Tabitha Brown, every time I go to Target, she's just screaming at me, hello there. So it's beautiful to see the pipeline that we've been able to create for diverse voices. And that workshop is coming back on July 28th, and we opened it up tonight. If any of you from any level are an actor, you don't have to be experienced. If it's something that you've been thinking about trying, something that's been tugging on your heart, we've got the right people in that room to help to develop and to nurture that gift. And I told Derek and I told Tabitha back in 2015, I didn't give my cell phone number to everybody, but we stayed in touch when any of us could do anything for each other, excuse me. And that's the key, like Issa Rae always says, don't try to network up, network across. A lot of us are looking to connect with Tyler Perry and Ava DuVernay and Oprah Winfrey, and you don't know the next iteration is sitting next to you in this seat tonight. And with social media, we have the power to, with our two hands, do everything that we need to do from the crib. We ain't even gonna be in LA no more. I'm considering getting up out of it. Just kidding. I'm never leaving. The point is, we were able to connect authentically in 2015, and look what God has done with all of us. So Derek, thank you. I'm so proud of Actors Rampage. Those of you guys who want to be a part of the next workshop, please sign up at www.hollywoodconfidential.com, or you can open up your books and use the QR code and it'll take you right to the Eventbrite page. We want to see you there. We always bring casting directors like Robbie Reed, Kim Hardy, the best of the best, to help you to get in those rooms when you need to. Now, one more opportunity before we bring Lupita. We always give our highest scorers an opportunity to have our platform, and we'll share it with them. So I've got two actors from our last Hollywood Confidential workshop who are getting ready to do a skit for you right now.
Shuri was right. What are those?
What?
Oh.
I don't like these.
No, you need to put those Panther clothes
These
in.
are the newest version. Come home, Nakia.
I'm right here.
Stay.
Look, I came to support you and to honor your father, but I can't stay. T'Challa, I found my calling out there. I have seen too many people in need just to turn a blind eye. No, I can't be happy here knowing that people out there who have nothing.
And what would you have Wakanda do about it?
Share what we have. We could provide aid, access, technology, and refuge to those who need it. Other countries do it, but we do it.
We are not like these other countries, Nakia. If the world found out who we were and what we possess, we could lose our way of life.
Wakanda is strong enough to help others and protect ourselves at the same time.
You know, if you were not so angry, you could be a great queen.
I would make a great queen because I am so angry and stubborn.
Ah, so you admit it?
If that's what I wanted. If.
I think that's what you want.
No, I don't.
Ring, Nakia.
No.
Has a nice ring to it.
No ring.
Speaking of ring, what
No.
size is your finger?
We want to give it up to our in-house director and our in-house casting director, Jean and Maya. If you're both here, please stand up to your feet, who helped to shape that right there. We'll take good care of you guys if you come out. Again, you can sign up right now at HollywoodConfidential.com. Thank you, Jean, for your contribution. And those actors' names were Ashley and Kwame. They'll be out signing autographs in the lobby when this is over. We're ready to play the trailer and bring out Lupita. You know, every time we do this, we're able to produce a trailer in-house because I be producing too. And this is the longest trailer that we've ever had because this career is wild. It's 5 minutes, but I want you to stay engaged. Y'all with it? Yeah. My boy Daniel in the back on the sound. Let's roll that package. Everybody stand up on your feet and welcome to this stage, Academy Award winning Lupita Nyong'o. Let her feel the love. On a Friday night. Y'all don't have to stop screaming.
Thank you so much.
I mean, let her know. Get it out, y'all. Get it out now. Go ahead.
Thank you, thank you.
Everybody's done? Thank you so much for joining us here at Hollywood Confidential.
It is an honor to be here.
We're at the Oscar Academy, and how very befitting for an Academy Award winner. We just want to know, you're looking amazing,
Thank
but how are you feeling?
I'm feeling really good. Yeah. It's been a challenging year, but it's looking up.
It's always looking up if we learn to reframe
Yeah.
and focus our intentions on the positive.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is a rich time in my life for sure.
And you look rich too. I couldn't help it. Over 2,000 people RSVP'd to come here tonight.
That's incredible. But that is also the power of what you're doing, you know.
Thank you all. And I received that. I'm working on that in therapy. But I want to toss it back to you. We've had some heavy hitters on this stage, from the Regina Kings to the Angela Bassett's to rap hip hop royalty Snoop Dogg. But I'm telling you, there was a different energy surrounding this particular event. And we only posted the flyer one time because we knew this only seated so many people, so we wanted to contain it. We didn't want to disappoint your fans.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you all for taking the time out of your lives to be here. And I hope that we have whatever transpires here. I don't know what's going to come out of my mouth. I don't know what he's going to ask. But I hope that it is fruitful and useful to you in one way or another.
The intention is set. Let's go. Now, you were born in Mexico.
I was.
And you were raised in Kenya.
I was.
Your parents were overwhelmingly supportive about your decision to go into the arts, even though they had a political background.
Yes.
Talk to us. These are my co-hosts. Talk to us about growing up in Kenya and then falling in love with the arts.
Ooh, so, you know, I always had a wild imagination. I was the kid who would rather be in the closet in the dark with my dolls making up worlds. And I was also the kid that would be like spaced out at dinner in my head, and my mother would be like, hey, space cadet, come back. But my education wasn't particularly rich in creativity. I went my first the primary school, which you all call elementary school, was a Kenyan system school, and it was very much informed by a colonial background. So there was a lot of like just rote learning, and oftentimes not even just things that weren't really relevant to my immediate world. Like I remember learning about the River Thames instead of the Nairobi River that really went through our school, you know? So things like that. So I struggled in school, but I always learned better when I was playing a character or making up worlds, and my mom saw that really early. She said that when I was before I even went to school, I was like, before kindergarten, her friend came over and I made up the story about what school I went to and what my uniform looked like and what I'd had for lunch. And my mother was like, this kid is either going to be an actor or a criminal. So she knew way before I did that, that I was suitable for the arts. And then my parents really just honed that in me. My mom would always scour the newspapers and notice boards for anything artistic. So my mom got me into like debate and improv and public speaking. I remember doing like a Dale Carnegie course and all these things. And my dad had been a thespian himself, and so he would he would recite passages of Shakespeare to me like before bed. And so he kind of planted in my head that Shakespeare wasn't scary, and I always wanted to understand Shakespeare, because it reminded me of my dad. So in that sense, my parents really are responsible for my allowing myself to be an artist when the world around me very often was very discouraging of me being an artist.
I'm learning right along with you. I researched, and feel free to tap in, correct me if my research is not accurate.
Okay.
But per my research, I thought I had seen when you were 16 years old, you left and moved to Mexico.
I did.
And one of your first plays happened in Mexico. And one of your friends, I believe his name might be Gilbert, helped to inspire you to think about going to Yale and pursuing your MFA. Now, I might have got that name wrong.
No, Gilbert is correct. However, I didn't do a play in Mexico.
Okay.
So because I was born in Mexico, my parents felt that at some point I needed to learn the language and experience the country that I had citizenship in. So when I was 16, these wild people sent me to Mexico without them, and were like, okay, go and figure it out. They did send me with my older sister, so I wasn't completely on my own, but it was still like wild to be in a whole new world with a language I didn't speak without my parents. I remember I was the youngest in my class, and the next person was 25 years old. And so I remember them, we would be having meals and they were complaining about paying bills. And I was like, oh my God, I don't even know what that is. So I had to grow up really, really fast. Anyway, but after I spent 7 months in Mexico, I went back to Kenya to finish my international baccalaureate. And then, but when Gilbert comes into the picture, because I had done a play with him, I'd done Romeo and Juliet with him in Kenya when I was 14. And I went to undergrad in Western Massachusetts and reconnected with him, and he was going to acting school at the Yale School of Drama. And I was like, hang on, wait a minute. You want to tell me there's an Ivy League school that has a course in acting and you can actually do that as a master's degree? I was like, okay, a whole new portal had been opened in my head. Because while I was an undergrad, despite the fact that my parents had always been very supportive of me being in the arts, I didn't really come from a world where that was a realistic goal, right? Because we didn't have a film industry to speak of. And theater, everyone who did theater, it was an extracurricular activity, it was a hobby. You didn't actually make a living out of being an actor. So I come from a very high achieving family. So I kind of oppressed my own desire to be an artist. And I was like, well, no, I have to do something meaningful in the world. And so while I was in undergrad, I was auditioning for plays, but I wasn't studying theater. No. I was doing African studies and filmmaking and anything that felt more concrete than being an actor. So when Gilbert Owuor, a Kenyan man, told me that he was in an acting program, suddenly it looked possible, right? And so that was the seed planted in my head. I finished my undergrad, I worked for a year, moved back to Kenya in a crisis of like, what am I gonna do with my life? And my mom encouraged me to take time to really ask myself some questions. And I had this workbook I was working through about finding your purpose. And it was then that I was able to whisper to myself that I wanted to be an actor. And I wrote it down in that book. And then I went to my mom kind of timidly and said, I think I figured it out. And I whispered, I want to be an actor. And she says, I've known that your entire life. And she was like, of course. And it was so validating. And then I told my dad that the way I wanted to do it was to go and audition for this school that only accepted 15 to 18 people a year. And my father was like, yeah, I'll support you to do that. Look, I don't care what you do as long as you do it to the best of your ability. You could be a janitor, but you have to be the best, just be the best janitor you can be. And so that's what really allowed me to pursue that. And luckily I got in, and the rest is history.
And we're here. Before we move off of that, what are some of the invaluable lessons that you learned while pursuing your MFA at Yale that you carry today as an actress?
Well, I learned a lot. The reason why I wanted to go to acting school rather than just trying to get into the industry some other way was because I didn't know my instrument. I didn't know what I was good at, I didn't know what I was bad at, and I didn't know how to get better. So I wanted to go to a program that would offer me tools to really understand my instrument so that I could put my best foot forward. You know, being an actor comes with a lot of self-doubt, and I mean, I'm yet to meet an actor who's like, I can do anything, you know? Like I don't know, and maybe it's just the nature of trying to be someone you're not, or expressing yourself in ways that are outside your comfort zone that come with insecurity, right? And also being an actor is oftentimes saying, pick me, pick me, pick me, right? And so when that can result in your self-value being determined by other people. And I didn't feel confident in myself, and I wanted to go to a program, an intensive program, where I could learn as much as possible so that I knew how to challenge myself in such a way that I could handle the criticism from outside, you know, because I spent the time honing my craft. So I guess at the Yale School of Drama, one of the things I learned is that you are always going to be uncomfortable. And so get comfortable with being uncomfortable, you know, and recognizing that being uncomfortable, being uncertain, they're actually tools to do the job. Because when you're uncertain, you inquire, you listen, you're curious. And the only way to grow is to ask questions, right? And so there is an element of self-doubt that is just par for the course, and you have to work beyond that energy. If you think that there's ever going to be a time when you're not doubtful of yourself, you're mistaken. It's a part of it, and you have to just look beyond the discomfort, right? And keep asking questions and adjusting to what you learn. And then I learned how to embarrass myself in public. And that's part of being an actor, is like you're trying to find it, and the job is public. And sometimes you're gonna fall flat, and it's going to be public, and you won't die. You know, you get another take, you get another rehearsal, or you get another job, or you get another chance. You have to keep granting yourself permission to get up and try again. So I think those are like some key lessons I took from the program.
Beautiful. A lot of the times when we're doing our actors workshop, the actors come to us and say they're simply dealing with imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
And a lot of the things that you were saying fits within imposter syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
And so you just gotta believe in yourself, believe you can do it, be comfortable with being embarrassed, putting yourself out there, being vulnerable, being transparent, and knowing that you have an opportunity to do it again. That was beautifully said.
Yeah.
Thank you. That really, really touched me.
Yeah.
Before we move on.
I have something to say. It's really important to believe in yourself, but it's also really important to lean on other people who believe in you. So one of the things that I got out of my program at Yale is a cohort of actors in my classmates that are my friends to this day. I remember when I got the role of 12 Years a Slave, I was still in school. We were nearing graduation. I got this big job. I'm like, I don't understand how this is possible, that I'm like not even graduated and I'm supposed to go off and do this movie with like Michael Fassbender and Chiwetel Ejiofor and Brad Pitt? What the hell? And I remember like I was so nervous, I was so scared, I was so riddled with imposter syndrome, and it was actually blocking my ability to prepare. And one of my good friends, Laura Gratmans, saw me around campus. She's like, what's going on with you? And I sat down on a public bench with Laura and wept. I was like, I don't know whether I can do this. I think I'm gonna be fired. They've made a mistake. I don't know how did I get this? How did I convince them that I was the one? And now I'm gonna make a fool of myself, and then I'm never gonna work another day in my life, and everybody's gonna see what a bad actor I am, and then I'm just not gonna have a career, and then I'm gonna go to Kenya, and what am I gonna do? I'm gonna like become a farmer, and like, it was just like disaster, like just the full disaster. And Laura looked at me and she said, Lupita, you've been studying this for 3 years. I understand that Chiwetel and Michael and Brad, all these people are people that are big to you. But the thing is, you don't need to know Chiwetel, Michael, or Brad. You need to know Patsy. You need to know Master Epps. You need to know the characters that they're playing, and you do know them because you know how to do your homework. So trust that Patsy knows the people she's with and focus on that. And man, that saved me, because what I hadn't been preparing to work with Michael Fassbender, but I had been preparing to play characters. And so when she was able to just shift my perspective in a moment where I didn't believe in myself, it reminded me of who I am, what I'm capable of. And because of that support, because of that trust that we had built in each other, I could recommit to the thing I knew how to do and do it. So.
The tribe is important. I got my best friends on the first 2 rows as my anchors. I love y'all. I'm not gonna start name dropping, but your tribe is important. I love that.
Yes.
Now, Hollywood Confidential has been celebrating 10 years. We're 10 years in the making. No need to clap, because someone else is celebrating a 10-year anniversary, and that will be Lupita Nyong'o, because 10 years ago she won the Academy Award this year. Talk to us about that moment when they read your name and that envelope opened.
Yeah.
And the trajectory that your career has been on ever since.
Yeah, that night. Whew. So, I mean, first of all, like, there have been so many events and awards and things. It was like a full coming out season in a way that, like, I didn't have the imagination for what that ride I went on. And there were just so many firsts. First magazine cover, first red carpet, first award show, first meeting of celebrities I've loved and admired forever, first. And so then the first Academy Award I attend. And so in that moment, luckily my award was the first of the night, thank God, because my nerves, I was just, oh my God, I was a basket of nerves. But I remember that I was sitting there, and you know, and they make and the nominees are blah, blah, blah. It was just so slow, molasses. And I'm sitting there, and the Oscar goes to another 10 years to wait before this man announces it. And in my head, I was just like, please say Lupita, please say Lupita, please say Lupita, please say Lupita. And he said it, but I thought I said it. Like, I really didn't realize that someone outside me had said it until my brother started yelling and hollering, and then everyone around me started, I was like, oh, he did say it, and I better get up. So it was all very, very slow, and then very fast after that. It was such a incredibly euphoric moment, right? Because I didn't dream that dream. I hadn't dreamt it yet. You know, so it was definitely extremely premature and a blessing beyond my imagination. So, but then after that is the shock of, okay, what happens now, right? I've reached what they call as the pinnacle. What do I do? And I'd spent a year talking about acting and not acting. And that imposter syndrome came marching right back up to remind me, like, yeah, you did it once, you're one and done. Yeah. And it was very scary because the supporting actress award comes with like an Oscar curse of like what happens to the actor after that, and then I'm black, and then I'm dark skinned. Oh dear. This industry was not waiting for me, you know? And so it was really a tenuous time. And after that, I remember like, okay, what happens now? And people were saying, seize the day. This is now the time when you go and you get your lead role and you do your blockbuster movie and all this. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to do it. I didn't even know that I could still act. And I was really dwarfed by it all. And I remember having a conversation with Emma Thompson because I had fallen in love with this play that Danai Gurira wrote. I had understudied it when I was at the School of Drama, and it's the play Eclipsed. And I wanted to play that role because I trained in the theater, and I felt like if I go back to the theater, I'm gonna be able to believe in myself again. Like, because the theater is a chance. When you're an actor in theater, you're in charge, right? You do the rehearsal, and then everybody else sits back, and from the beginning to the end of the show, it's on you. There are no editors, it's you. So it's a workout like no other. So I wanted to go back to that. But everybody was like, you can't do theater now. You have to do your next movie. You have to do the bigger thing. And this conversation I had with Emma Thompson, she said to me, don't listen to anybody. Listen to your intuition. If you need to go back to the theater to hone your craft and to believe in yourself, you do that because you are the only driver of your life. Nobody else is in charge of that. So the industry will be there. And if you go and do that, you will be able to withstand the industry. But if you don't, then you are letting someone else decide for you. You're at the mercy of other people's expectations. You got here without those expectations. Carry on to charter your own path. And so I did the play. And my confidence in myself grew so much because I was reminded of my instrument. There was a job I didn't expect to get when I did 12 Years a Slave. It's the job of celebrity. It's a very different job than the job of actor. Actor is about retiring your ego and using yourself and applying yourself to another person's life circumstances. The job of celebrity is all ego. It's all about how do I look, it's all about me. And it was uncomfortable because you can talk yourself out of your talent. You know, if you're just like talking about it and not doing it.
Yeah.
So I had to really delineate between my job as celebrity and my job as actor. And so when I went back to the theater, I was reminded of my job as actor, which I then could use to navigate the job of celebrity.
There's a lot of gems being dropped. I remember we used to say that during the pandemic. Ooh, they dropping gems, they dropping gems. Thankfully, that Oscar curse was null and void because you went on to star in a succession of blockbuster films.
Mm.
2 of them I want to touch on.
Okay.
Star Wars: The Force Awakens
Yes.
and Jordan Peele's critically acclaimed Us. I mean, first of all, you were 2 characters in Us. Did you get 2 checks? That was a lot of hard work.
What are the chances? No.
Okay,
I wish.
Man.
I wish I should have.
You-
Should have fought for that.
You bodied that. And Red was wild. I actually want to take a little... We're going, Lupita, are you here? Yes. We're going to wrap up. On a serious note, how do you safeguard your spirit when you're doing roles that cause you to go to such a dark place?
So, another thing that I learned in school was ritual. The importance of ritual to get in and out of character. Now, ritual is something that you create for yourself. And there's like, you know, they give you get some tools like music that puts you in a role and then takes you out of it. Or just like gestures that take you in and out. The importance of taking care of your spirit, because the thing about acting, not to get all woo-woo here, but there's a little bit of like conjuring spirits, right? I definitely believe that. There is like the inexplicable allowing for a spirit to inhabit you. And I say this because I think that humanity, we are able to be many things, right? We architect ourselves, but we are connected and we have the ability and the capability of embodying other people.
Yeah.
So in acting, you kind of do that. And it's important to take care of your own spirit so that you don't like lose your goddamn mind. So I really believe that, and you have the power to do it, to get in and out of it, and these rituals that you create for yourself are important to do that, to safeguard yourself. So with every role I play, I create rituals around the roles, and it can be as simple as how I wash my hand, like washing my hands, you know, just something where it's a meditation to remind yourself of who you are once you've done the job, right? And so I would do that every day. And Red was particularly tough because, yeah, she is very dark and her voice is weird and all of that. So I would like do the ritual and I would stay in character all day. Not stay in character, I'm not method, but the vocal posture was such that I couldn't go in and out. Yeah. So I would stay in the vocal posture and that would shift my everything, right? And what was really funny is that people, when Red was on set, everybody would be whispering and tiptoeing around and avoiding me completely. It felt so good. I felt so powerful, you know. And like I would be in character and be like, "Can I have a slice of pizza?" You know, I was myself, but like, you know, doing the voice and stuff.
If you did that voice to me, you could have anything you want.
Oh, believe me, I got my way.
No, you didn't.
So yeah, and then after the day's work, I would do a different ritual to get out of character. And it was just important for me to take care of myself that way, you know? And then once the show is over, you know, another thing that I do is that I will plan a gift for myself after a show, after a role, to really just allow myself, just reward myself for the work I just did, but also to allow myself to shift gears. And it gives me something to look forward to. So like for us, I planned a trip with 2 of my friends to the Grand Canyon, because I'd never seen it. And there's nothing that will remind you of how unimportant you are than nature.
Yes.
Right? So, you know, when you're working on a movie, all eyes are on you and you're center of attention, and that's not a healthy way to live. So I go back to nature to remind myself that I am only this big. And it's amazing because it just like, it's renewing and yeah, and then it's on back to life. Mm-hmm.
I love that. You're just such a beautiful person. I can listen to you talk all night long.
Oh, thank you.
There is an app called the Calm app.
Oh, yeah.
Call them, because I can listen to that when I'm having anxiety, when I'm sleep.
Yes.
Man, it's so soothing listening to you talk.
Oh,
the
thank
words.
you.
Thank you. It's hit my soul.
I'm gonna drop an ASMR channel. No.
Now, when we speak about franchises,
Yeah.
you already know we can't talk about career without talking about Black Panther.
Yes.
Talk about whatever you want to talk about. You've heard all the questions. I don't want to be redundant. What do you want to share about that process and how that project connected globally, heart to heart?
Woo. Black Panther. I mean, it's hard to talk about Black Panther without. I miss him. And it was a beautiful journey to go on, and very hard to lose the sun.
Take your time.
It always, it's amazing how easily those tears fall. Grief is really interesting because I don't know whether you ever heal from it, you just get better at holding it. But Black Panther was life-altering. So, fun fact, I had been in talks for a different Marvel movie. And then I got a call from my agent being like, no, there's another Marvel movie that they're interested in you for, so just hold the phone on this other one, I won't name it, and please talk to Ryan Coogler about Black Panther. And I'm not a comic book reader, so I was not familiar with the Black Panther. So immediately I called my friend Bill, who is a big comic book nerd, and I was like, okay, tell me everything you know about Black Panther. And he walked me through, he was like, yo, that is an amazing book. He's African, whatnot. I was like, what? Okay, then I talked to Ryan. And I'm like, Ryan walked me through this thing, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, one of the things for me being an African actor in America, and working in an industry that has not been keen to represent Africa at all, leave alone well. One of my personal mandates, just in being present, is to shift our paradigms about what it means to be African. That's something that I feel very, very deeply. It's like it's my mandate, and that political effort is in just being me, and also in the projects that I choose, and yeah, just expanding our idea of what it means to be an African, and being an African means being part of the world. So when Ryan walked me through this story, I was like, I can't believe that Marvel, such a huge cultural influence in America, but also globally, is daring to do this. And one of the things I felt very deeply is that if we're going to do something that is like of an African character, it really needs to feel like it's of the place and paying homage to the place. It's imaginative, yes, but like, how does it feel of the place? And then I remember, and he was very keen to do that too. He spoke to me about his dilemma and conflict as an African American, confronting Africa and that challenge, and it was very much imbued in the story he told. And I remember walking into my first fitting with Ruth, and I remember walking in, and on the walls was all this detailed research with all these African peoples, and she had investigated the continent in such a robust way, and from that was born this incredibly rich tapestry of clothing that we were all wearing, and the thought about like what tribe or what color and what textures and what beads and what feathers, and I was so blown away. And in that fitting, I was like, we're good, because everybody who's involved understands the assignment, is doing the homework, and is bringing it in a way that even me, my small African self, did not imagine, right? And so I remember visiting set on one day when I was not working, and the tribal council had gathered. It was the first time the tribal council was doing this scene. And I walked onto set, and I'm seeing all these people in the tribal council, and I'm seeing elements of the Omo and the Yoruba and the Kikuyu and the Maasai, and like from all over the continent. And it's beautiful, it's rich, it's specific, it's otherworldly, it's Afrofuturism. And I remember just weeping, because I just thought, wow, a whole generation of people from everywhere is going to see this, and they're going to aspire to this thing that we as Africans, our colonial past has tried to stomp it out of us. And here it is being held up high, and it's now an image of a future rather than a past. I mean, wow. What would that do? And my heart just swelled with so much pride. And I knew it was going to mean something, because Africans are so used to their stuff being stolen from them, right? And it's like you feel retired to it. It's like, there they go, doing that thing, and they're not even doing it with any sort of specificities. And you still get used to that. And then here it is, and they're like, no, we are paying homage. We are paying homage to you. We're not stealing from you, and we are giving you pieces of yourself back.
Yes.
That was powerful. Yeah.
On behalf of the ancestors, our forefathers, and the diaspora as a whole, we thank you for that work.
God bless Ryan Coogler. Okay?
At the helm, one more franchise we want to talk about is this new project you're a part of called A Quiet Place. Dave, you've taken the helms of this project.
Yeah.
And before we even get into this conversation, we hear that you brought a little special clip for the audience.
Oh, yes, I did.
Daniel, go ahead and play that exclusive, never been seen before clip that's gonna drive us all to theaters. Tell us why we need to go out and see this movie.
Okay, so I have to admit something. I personally didn't see A Quiet Place 1 and 2 in the cinema. I was a scaredy cat. And I regret that. Because I watched the films, obviously, because I needed to in order to do this. And I was bummed that I didn't go because this film lends itself to the cinematic experience. You know, that sort of, like, to be in such, even just here, feeling you all as you watch this. There's something about this type of film that, like, brings everybody closer as they're watching it. So it lends itself to a shared experience. And while it's called A Quiet Place, the sound design is so beautiful, you know? And so it is for that cinematic experience, and I'm really looking forward to sneaking into a theater and experiencing it with everyone. And the cinema is like a unique place, and I just love the idea of people coming together, especially after the few years we've had.
Yeah.
You know, to be able to come together and have a cathartic experience like this, have a really good time, and and just enjoy the story. It's very, it's not what you expect. I will say that. John Krasinski was very keen to only continue this franchise if it could expand in some way and lend itself to a different theme, tone, be surprising in new ways. And so what Michael Sarnowski as a director has done here is different. And I can't say much without someone coming to pull me off of the stage. So you just have to go to see for yourself.
Are you guys going out to see it? And just because you gave that amazing response, I found out Lupita brought a second clip. Go ahead and play that. If you're not convinced.
Paramount is being very gentle.
Is everybody gonna see The Quiet Place? Day one. I need you to tweet, Instagram, TikTok, and whatever you young people be doing to talk about this film tonight. And I want to do a special shout out to Daniela and Mia from Paramount, who sought us out to do this event and accepted our proposal. And when I saw Paramount Studios posting about Hollywood Confidential, I'm just a kid from Ohio who had a dream. But to be working with Paramount Studios and Lupita Nyong'o, I thank you guys. I thank you.
Thank you.
Now, we're getting to some fun stuff, and then we'll bring it home. Are you guys having a good time? Now, as I was doing my research, I saw so many beautiful interviews on Jimmy Kimmel and Jimmy Fallon, just you just being free and showing your personality. And I think it's been so many horror films and so much dark stuff. I don't know that you all are aware that she is hilarious. Her personality is beautiful, comedic, funny, and actually musically inclined. How do I know that? Because I was watching MTV's Lip Sync. You guys watch that? And I saw you doing Salt and Pepper, What a Man.
Yeah.
talk about your fun side really quick, because you're funny.
Thank you. Listen, this is an open application. I'm trying to get into comedy. I need someone to believe that I can be funny. And that's really hard when you're, dramatic, when you're known for drama. Where's the imagination? I really want to do comedy. I really want to do a rom-com. And I also really want to just do a role where I'm well-dressed. Black Panther was good. I did that, yes, for sure. And I just, I was very dusty in this movie.
You were.
Over it. I wrote a list after day one. These are the things that I don't want to do in my next movie. And being dusty was on the top of the list. Oh my gosh. Oh, Lord. So yes, I'd like to be in a comedy.
Also, in doing my research, I saw that one of the first representations that mattered in your life, cinematically speaking, was Whoopi Goldberg's A Color Purple.
Yes.
She showed all of us in that era, that generation that we come from, that we could.
Yeah.
You guys are so blessed, and I have to practice not feeling a way about the fact that you all are inundated with representation with TikTok and all of this social media. We had to seek representation and seek those who look like us in the 80s and in the 90s. So you all are blessed. You don't even realize it. But with that being said, I thought about those 2 points, and we're going to get serious, but I want to do a fun situation. You don't have to do anything. You watch me make a fool out of myself.
Okay.
But when I think about that lip sync conversation, and I think about Whoopi Goldberg, which my favorite Whoopi movie just hit 30 years.
Wow.
Who got the flow? Thank y'all. Sister Act.
Oh.
Sister Act just hit 30 years.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Nothing you can do can make me untrue to my God.
My God. Okay, vocals. I love that movie. It did a lot for me. Really quick, and then we'll get right back to the script. At that time, when that movie came out, I was like 10, and my dad had just purchased a camcorder, and we didn't have DVR. We didn't have a way to copy the movie, so we had to buy the movie on like pay-per-view for like $13.99. And then I was a little producer even at 10. I set up my books to put the camcorder on top of it to film Sister Act so I could watch it again and again without charging up my credit card, my mama's credit card. That's how old I am.
Woo!
The point is, I wrote a rap.
Oh dear.
Inspired by you.
Okay.
For you.
Oh wow.
You ain't got to do nothing.
Okay.
Am I a rapper? No.
Good. Okay.
But I want you to just be my hype girl.
Oh, I can do that. Okay.
For this moment.
I don't need to beatbox, I hope.
No, not at all.
Rhythm. Oh my goodness.
For this moment,
okay.
We're going to get into character.
Okay. Oh, there's shades involved. All right. Oh, we both wear shades. Oh, okay. What does a hype girl do? Like, just like hype
You
people?
just like, do a little harmonies, do a ooh,
Oh,
ooh,
yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Go.
Yeah, like some.
Oh, yeah.
Some licks. Some
Ooh,
licks.
yeah.
All right. Let me.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay.
Daniel, I believe we have a track.
Oh, whoa. We're really going there. Okay. All right. Oh, yeah. We know this one.
That's it. That's the hype I need. That's it. Hype me up.
Go. Yeah. It's.
I'll try and get this out, y'all. Y'all ready?
Here we go.
Actors on the grind, never showing the pain. Entertainers hustling through the joys, through the strain. Steve Jones in the mix with a vision so clear. Enjoying the youth, fighting doubt and fighting fear. Through the highs and the lows, y'all keep pushing ahead. Turning dreams into plans with every word said. With grit in your veins and fire in your soul. Lupita and the crew making broken hearts whole. Oh, 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 oh. Give it up for my hype girl. Yeah. Y'all, I just rapped with Lupita Nyong'o. Y'all can't tell me nothing. You really can't tell me nothing. I like my bars.
Amazing, amazing.
Alongside being an Oscar winner, you were also nominated for a Tony.
Yeah.
You about to fool around and get the EGOT status. In addition to that, you are a New York Times best-selling author of a book called Soy. Let's talk about that book, and I got some copies right there.
My baby! Yes.
Talk to me about that book.
Well, you know, this book was actually inspired by, or it was born out of a speech I gave at the Essence Women in Film event back in 2014. When I got that, when I was told I was going to be awarded for that, I just remembered, like, being in Kenya, we got Essence, and unfortunately, when I was growing up, there was never a dark-skinned woman on the Essence cover. And so I remember just feeling, I grew up while I was in a predominantly black world, and every other person is dark, but I grew up in a world that regarded European standards of beauty as being more valuable than our own beauty. And, and that is thanks to the assault of colonialism again, right? And so, and obviously, Essence's history is also very much affected by that. Like, colorism is real and very much alive in many, many parts of the world. And so when Essence was going to award me, I was reflecting on that, and I thought, this is monumental, that I am going to be awarded by a magazine that is meant for a black audience, and that they are embracing, now in the modern day, are embracing dark skin, natural hair, and the idea that we are beautiful on our own terms. And so I talked about that, and I talked about how, it was a long road to finding beauty, feeling beautiful and finding self-acceptance. And for me, it came with Alec Weck, when she was being lauded as this beautiful person, and she was on Oprah, and everyone was, this woman is beautiful. And I was like, what's going on? The world is upside down, because that had just never happened. And her presence in the media shook me to the core. And of course, other things. So then for a few years, an agent of mine encouraged me to make it a children's book. And I was like, huh? The speech, a children's book? That doesn't seem to work. But it wasn't until I was working on Black Panther, actually, that the idea for Suwe came. And again, I think it's because I was working on something that was so affirming of Blackness and Africanness. And my imagination was just alive. And I was like, okay, I don't know what the story's gonna be, but I know why to make it a children's book. I know why to tell this story about self-acceptance and facing and overcoming colorism. Why it was important to tell it to an audience for children. Because it was at that age, when I was like 5, when those insipid messages of worthlessness were being planted in my head. And so I thought, it would be powerful to have a book that counters that children can read even before the world has gotten to them to tell them how to value themselves. And like most children's books that are good, the child holds on to it, not because they understand the message, but because it's fun, it's engaging, and so the message ends up being planted subconsciously in a way that can reinforce them later. And so that's why I wanted to tell this story to a child audience. But in telling this story, it was also healing for me as an adult, because I was giving myself and people like me the book I never had.
Confidential to have a book coming out with HarperCollins in May of 2025.
Congratulations.
It's going to be called Hollywood Confidential, 12 Secrets to Becoming the Star of Your Own Life. Now that title in your Kenyan tongue means star, correct?
It does, yes. In Duo.
That thought for my byline was derived from one of my favorite authors, Marianne Williamson, in her book Return to Love, where she talks about the fact that we are so obsessed with celebrity culture is because we have not yet become the star of our own lives.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be the book. It's going to be a collection of 12 stories of some of the top people that I've interviewed and tips, because I believe that we can trace the steps of greatness to ideate and create our own. And so be looking out for that book. This is about Lupita. It's a setup, guys. It's a setup. It's the alley-oop. Come, wait. Talk to me about Marianne Williamson, because I found out you're a fan of that book as well. And Return to Love, and how I shared with you backstage, it shifted how I saw the world. So talk to me about that book, just because I'm a book nerd. And then also talk to me about any positive affirmations that help you to push through when times are challenging.
Ooh. So I read Marianne Williamson for the first time, I think it must have been, I want to say it was like 2015 or 16. And it was a radical book for me, because it talks about the power of miracles, and that a miracle is nothing more than a shift in perspective.
Yes.
And that was monumental to me. The idea that something you're experiencing something, and the pain you experience is more to do with your perception of the thing and than the thing itself. So the idea that if you can shift your perspective in any given conversation, any given situation, it can result in less suffering. Now, that's easier said than done, right? And what I love about this book is that, first, it's deep. It's a book I keep going back to, and it reminds me of the power of my own mind to build me, right? And she's the one who was quoted for saying, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. It's that we are powerful beyond measure. And that actually, I think I may have read it shortly after winning that Academy Award, to be honest. And I think that's what got me there, because I was so riddled with self-doubt and having to, when you have to like show up in front of people and be smart all the time, it's intimidating. And suddenly you're given like the role of the wise one, and I'm like, I'm still learning. So reading Marianne Williamson really was a step in my own self-acceptance and in just allowing myself to shift perspective, and allowing myself to, okay, I'm not okay with this today, but I am now praying for a shift in perspective that will allow me to accept this tomorrow. And that is a different prayer meditation than like hoping for a lightning bolt to change things, you know? You're more in control when you recognize that there is a shift in perspective possible. Yeah.
Cool, thank you. Real quick, my quote, and then we'll bring this to a close. Have you guys enjoyed this so far? I found the book in 2016 as well. In 2013, I had heard about people who struggled and dealt with depression, and I had not cultivated empathy yet, which I live by. I believe it's a universal thread. But at that time, I didn't have it, so I would hear about people who dealt with depression, and I'd be like, oh, I'm so sorry for them. And then I would go back to my amazing life. But I had pitched a television show to someone who I looked up to since a child, and unfortunately, they stole the TV show, and I didn't find out until it was on a network.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
And I fell into a deep depression. Couldn't move, couldn't breathe, couldn't sleep. It was like an R. Kelly. Wait, he's canceled. Excuse me. It was like an R&B love song. And so I had developed this root of bitterness, is what it was. I was mad, and I was projecting. Everybody was out to get me.
Yeah.
And Marianne Williamson stepped in like the angel that she is. And I saw a clip in 2013 that woke me, no, excuse me, in 2016 that shifted my perspective. And she said, you can have a grievance or you can have a miracle, but you cannot have both. And I'm telling you, it hit me to my core. I forgave everyone for everything. And the minute I did that, the world opened up to me. So that book had a special place in my heart. And as I was doing the research for this conversation, I said, oh, that's my twin flame soul sister. We could talk about Marianne Williamson. So I love that you are into that book and the principles there, and you're absolutely right. If you can shift your perspective, your whole world will change. And so thank you for just indulging me on my favorite book. I just have one more question for you before we bring this to a close. We have a room full of aspiring actors, producers, directors. And they're wanting to forge a path similar to yours. They want to be all that they can be and express and use all the gifts and the crayons in their coloring box. What advice would you offer them to be their best selves and to achieve their dreams?
Just a small question. Hey, okay. So, I would say, you hear all the time, believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. But recently I heard a podcast in which someone said, believe yourself, which is different. I think, and that was a major like, whoa, okay. There is something that acting is an emotional career. It's emotional to play characters. You need your emotional facility to be able to withstand rejection is an emotional thing. Being human is emotional. And oftentimes, as we are forced out of understanding how we feel, right? So showing too much emotion is frowned upon. Being sad when you were rejected, you know, if you to be successful, you have to be able to like take the punches or whatever. We do a lot of fronting, and I think that takes us away from our truthful human experience. And I think that a lot of pain in the world is brought about by people who refuse to accept how they feel.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of dishonesty that comes from not being emotionally honest. And with that, when you have to front, when you have to like be appropriate and you can lose sight of how you actually feel. And as an actor, in order to be able to do your job, the first responsibility you have, the first opportunity you have at being able to portray humanity is to deeply understand yourself. So, and in understanding yourself, you have to believe yourself. So I encourage, now it's become my thing of like, I need to believe myself. If something is making me uncomfortable, believe it. If something is making you sad, believe it. If something is making you angry, believe it. And when you validate your own emotions, first of all, you can handle your emotions better. but also you are more able to understand someone else's. So believe yourself.
That's it. Now, a couple things are going to happen as she gets ready to exit the stage. We have some books up here. You'll autograph one, and everyone who posts about A Quiet Place and Hollywood Confidential and @us, which means you got to be following us at Hollywood Confidential on Instagram. Everyone who posts about this event will be entered to win this autographed book of Sulwe from Lupita Nyong'o that was signed here tonight. But you've got to talk about A Quiet Place, and you've got to talk about what happened at Hollywood Confidential, and we'll select that person soon. And she's signing it right here, and it can be yours for the price of a post. Now, one other thank you that I want to do as she's signing is thank Moray, Diego, and the entire... I'm sorry, it was not already open. I want to thank the Moray, Diego, and the entire... You sure?
Yeah, I got nails.
Go crazy. I want to thank Diego, Moray, and the entire Oscar Academy for graciously allowing us to be in their space. And give it up for Lupita, who finally opened that up. Oh wait, I have a book that you'll sign for me as well. Wait. And you'll do People Magazine, Most Beautiful Woman in the World too. For me, for Steve. As she's signing again, thank you to the Academy. Because we're at the Academy, we won't do our normal award. I know you lying. We just bought it. Oh, we should have set it up for you. Okay. Joseph or Joel, could you help us with getting this pen ready? I'm so sorry, Lupita Nyong'o. I apologize. Oh, look, we've got it. Look at God. Thank you. Because we're at the Academy, we won't be doing our award presentation like we normally do because we got these big old Oscars to the left or to the right. So that's okay though, right? We still figured out a way where we can commemorate this moment and honor this queen. Y'all with me? So Nikki and the team, if you could bring out the gift first, not an award. We want to come back to the Oscars. Oh, thank you, Nikki. Okay. I think I'm making you do a lot of work up here. I'm sorry. So I'm going to open this gift up because I've asked her to do too much. I know she's into spirituality and good things like that. So this is a personal gift, not just from me, but from everyone in the room. It's another gift that should have been open prior to. Do you mind holding my mic while I rip through it?
Okay, here you go.
Yeah. All right, guys. So it is this beautiful 24-karat medallion. And hopefully she'll wear it. We'll check out Getty Images. We'll check out our good friend Arnold right here, who is a legendary photographer. I've been reading Arnold's name since I was 16 years old in Ohio. He was with Aaliyah, Rock the Boat. He's with all the big stars, and I want to be where Arnold was. And now I'm working with Arnold at Hollywood Confidential. We love you, Arnold. We're going to check Getty to see if she's wearing this. You ready?
Yeah.
So it's actually the stars that have aligned to this exact coordinate here on this stage in Beverly Hills. We can customize it. So we put in this location, the coordinates came out, and you can see the stars aligned for this very moment on the front. And so on the back it says the date, which is today. and it has the coordinates listed out, and it says, Lupita, thank you for being our North Star. Hollywood Confidential, hashtag Sulway. We love you. We have one more fun gift. Oh yeah, oh, that's so sweet. The fact that the stars were able to be customized and aligned for this moment is just a beautiful thing. And I want to thank my friends Nicole and Jackson for helping me to secure the gift. We secured that thing. Oh, beautiful, thank you. Okay, so we did see in the clips that she was hanging out with the cats. And if you're following her on Instagram, you know about Yo-Yo the cat. And so we got something for you and Yo-Yo. We made a donation to the Best Friends Save Them All. Aww. An organization for cats. And we inscribed it, Yo-Yo gives you life, but you give us life. And the Best Friends Animal Society preserves life for the benefit of us all. So this is the donation that we made on your behalf and on Yo-Yo's behalf. So the other cats ain't gotta fight. Amen.
I love it.
We'll bring out some flowers. Everyone will stand up and they'll let Lupita Nyong'o feel the love. Let her know you appreciate her coming out here tonight. There's your flowers. Let her feel the love tonight. If you love her, if you appreciate her, let her feel it. Hashtag Hollywood Confidential, at Hollywood Confidential. I'm going to leave the stage to allow you all to scream one last time for Lupita Nyong'o. Thank you guys so much for coming out tonight. God bless you. Drive safely. Tweet about it. Instagram about it. I love y'all. Gail from Billboard. What up? I love you guys. Don't bum rush the stage. Security's not playing tonight. I'll be downstairs in about 15 minutes.